But Governor, it's not usually easy to uproot such a well-orchestrated network of what some have called cartels, especially in sectors such as, health. How do you hope to sustain the initiatives and the progress that you are saying you have achieved so far in changing the way of business in the health sector in Kericho County, so that if we host you here, say 1 year or 2 years down the line, the narrative will be the same?
I admit and I agree with you. It's difficult sometimes and it's a challenge to route the system completely, because at the first 1, 2, 3 months, people would try to toe the line, imagining that after 3 months, the governor would have forgotten this and go to other things. But what is important is building institutions. So what we are doing is building institutions and building capacity, going for the right people in the right departments. I can admit to you that at the beginning of devolved units, we have facetly, embraced devolution. People of low competence were placed to positions of leadership. Because you are a relative, because you are a friend, because you are bribed, then you are put into a place which you don't deserve. And that is why Kingsley, I've taken my time to study that system and now get the right people, so to say, in my own assessment, that are able to deliver on the mandate and put on again institutional systems that are able to check. Like what we are doing now is like when you have a health management information system, this helps you to track like the movement of drugs from one point to the other one. It also helps you to manage the stores, to realize that, now we are here, we have spent these drugs, and the pharmacy is almost getting depleted. Then we procure early so that we don't wait until the pharmacy shelves is empty before we procure. And also the change to attitude towards work. The problem with county governments, and I tell you just, Kericho, like any other one, when I took over, I was so shocked. I came in from the university, the University of Embu, which was actually one of the best in terms of ISO certification, and you had worked out because I was within the part of administration. And now you are coming to a place where you go to an office by 10 a.m., no one has even reported to an office. And when guys report, they report only for 1 hour and they disappear for nyama choma and some drink, and then they go home, the day is over. So first of all, there was a way, and I ended up doing a lot of impromptu visits to offices. It was painful at the beginning for them, but later on I built capacity to them. People generally, and let me tell you this, never be lied. Success of a county government is the leader of that county government. When you are weak at the top, then the system is weak. But when you demonstrate the goodwill and you show and demonstrate to them the need of being to work and the need of doing this right, then people always come up.
Okay. Daktari, then when you talk about leadership, it's important that this comes from the top, and leadership is very key in any given dispensation. But when you talk about sort of a lackluster in terms of reporting to work, I mean, the employees undertaking their responsibilities and mandates as required by the law, what do you then attribute that to? Because when you flip through reports by government agencies, including the Control of Budget and the Auditor General, clearly there is a failure on the part of the employees, the batch across the counties, as to how they need to be implementing this. Because when we devolve power and resources from the center, the idea was to have mini governments across the counties, and that seems not to be working across all the counties as required. What do you think? What do you attribute it to? What do you think is the problem?
Yes, like I said, we have what you call intentional leadership. And devolution as envisioned by the law was supposed to bring services close to the people and accelerate the rural economy. Now, we have situations where when you take over as a governor, you don't have a clear vision for what you want from your county. You don't have the willpower to make things happen. Then what happens is that the employees will get used to the usual, in government, basically, people, like if you come to the private sector, if you are a citizen today, for example, when you say you are supposed to be at work by 6, by around 5:40, you are around there preparing for yourself. So we also need to change the culture. We need to change the attitude. We need to build capacity. We need to pick on systems to check them. And one of the systems that I propose to devolve units is the active involvement of performance contracting systems to help us. Like in Kericho, now we are figuring out how to implement performance contracting so that we have sector heads in every department. You see, you go to a department, you don't have even a sector head. You just have a CC, you have a CEO and a director who by themselves, they don't even report to those offices. They manage the offices from their homes or from their luxurious facilities because they have looted so much from their county. And I'll tell you today, in 10 years that went, the cheapest avenue of making quick money was the county governments. And you look, even middle-level employees driving very heavy vehicles, owning palatial facilities, because they themselves were working in the county. At the same time, they were active contractors and contribute to corruption. And I would firsthand, and I've seen this happening even in my county and other counties, what we need is to crack the whip, discipline the counties, make the counties perform, and create targets that at the end of this period of time, if it is 6 months, this is what we have achieved. If at the end of 6 months we haven't achieved that, we go back and ask ourselves, why did we achieve?
And just a reminder that you have a 5-year mandate. If the people of Kericho would see a reason to renew or refresh that, well and good. Yes, go ahead.
And I'm here to also find out how the people are receiving, especially the county officials, are receiving this no-nonsense attitude from you, Governor. But we'll talk about that as we continue.